Alright guys, the first clip we're looking at is Warrior H-Pal versus Dispriest Windwalker. Um, this is a comp that I feel like is really difficult. I feel like Windwalker is really strong. I'd like to preface, I'm doing a boost in this video, so you know, I am probably a little bit more geared and more experienced than the people we're versing, but I think it's still a good idea to see, you know, the gameplay and decision making process of this entire thing. So I think here we're running Banner, Big Shout, and Sharpen, which generally is the play. You don't need Disarm because Disarm doesn't really stop anything from Windwalkers. What we're looking to do here is put huge damage onto the Windwalker, get some form of CC on the Disc Priest, get his Karma, bop it if we need to, or just go straight through it, and pretty much win the game before the Windwalker can get a huge amount of go. We want to try and Stormbolt his fist if we can. If we can't, it's not a big deal. It does help a lot though. So, think there we go. A bit of lag there. So the first thing we do, I slow both of them. Um, Pretty much I get into B stance here. I get capped. I just use my thing here. I throw the banner down, right? The reason I throw the banner down is I'm hitting him. I'm wailing on him. I'm really scared about the double sweep. I think I just hear like I'm chilling as I'm disarmed, right? Uh, I could do like a spear or something, but I kind of want to hold everything, and we got good pressure here. The Windwalker's severely lining his Disc Priest, and we get the Karma straight away. And I'm deciding to just go straight through this Karma, which might have not been a good idea. And my Paladin, I think he could have held Bop, but he uses his Bop there. I'm incapped here, and I'm just trying to reconnect to this Windwalker here. I get the freedom, and we get stunned, which is, this is not looking too good for us at the moment. But I get a spear right there out, and I'm using Overpower when he has Fist of Fury, right? The reason is Overpower cuts straight through Fist of Fury. It can't be parried. So that's a button you can press when they're fisting on you. Here, the Windwalker is still pretty low. He has no Karma. Um, I'm just trying to get the slow outs. Like I'm spamming like piercing howl, so I can slow both of them. And I finally, end up getting on top of both. So I do a wall breaker here, and I'm just chasing him down at the moment. What I'm looking at here is I really want to do a big go. I know he used his human trinket before, I believe, so he's really susceptible to a swap. We get the Hodge there, which gets a trinket, and I think I'm just trying to like kite out a little bit so I don't get double swept there. I throw the intervene onto my H-Pal so he has a bit of room to breathe. And if you see, I'm sort of jumping every few seconds, like when I'm not doing something, to try and make sure I don't get double swept. He gets grip there, but I chase, right? And the reason for that is I've pretty much got all my buttons. It's very hard for me to die 100 to 0. And during disarms, what I'll do is I'll just hit ignore pain, and play defensive. I throw the spear down on his fists, and I'm overpowering. And eventually, right, we get this bop on the Karma, and he was already too low. So what you'll find with Moonwalkers, and what I tend to find, is that they do a huge amount of burst, but they're super squishy if you play offensive on top of them, and they're not getting top to full consistently. So what you want to do is try and force out that Karma, either bop or go quickly through it, and call for the dispel on the Karma dot. This was a really messy game from me. I really could have played so many things better. But you can see if you just put huge amounts of pressure onto this Windwalker monk, eventually his priest, like he can't just do these massive rolls and chase your H-Pal without getting punished. And that's the most important thing to take out of this game. Doing big pressure and forcing like him to start to play defensive means that Windwalkers are really good at killing healers, right? But they're not necessarily going to do the same amount of damage to you in D stance and ignore pain. So if you can force him to hit you, you're going to do way better throughout the whole game. That's that first clip there. Here's another one that I know people are, interested to see how I go, and how I play against this. This is really, really annoying. Protection Paladin, Arms Warrior. Prop Paladins are very, very prevalent in twos, and I've found the best thing for me is swapping a lot, but the main target is generally the Protection Paladin. I go the Potency Conduit there just so I can pump more damage, and I start in D stance. So what I'm trying to do here is get on top of the paladin, push out huge amounts of damage, so he has to play defensive, peel their original go, and then you know peel out, help my healer, and then do another go when the prop players like got even less cooldowns. Both of these guys are pretty geared, so I just charge this what's it called, prop paladin, and I throw a stun on him so I can get the spear consistently. The reason I do that is because I'm on OCMS, so sometimes um, the spear is really finicky. Right? I get a big blade storm here, and he's already on 18k health. An intervene comes out, and so does the fear. I'm just trying to leap, and then I get the intervene. There's a Stormbolt as well, and I'm just soaking damage. And as you can see, when I intervene, I'm just spamming Ignore Pain. I'm not slamming and wasting that rage. My Paladin gets a nice Hex, so I'm not breaking the Hex yet because I'm disarmed, and I'm going to hit the Warrior to try and force out more cooldowns. He gets Guardian of the Forgotten Queen on him, and I'm still just trying to pump out this what's it called, prop pally here. He looks at me, throws the stun over. It's still pretty awkward because my Arsham's over there as well, and I'm slowly walking towards him now. I see I can't really line anything, so I'm just spamming intervene here, and I charge the warrior and start to do a go on him. Just trying to get to my what's it called, shaman there, and I throw the spear down because I've got a lot of damage coming out of this. And he does his really annoying cavalier boop and pushes me away. I intervene here because I see that they want to do a go, and I'd rather soak this damage for them. What I do wrong here is I probably could have been in D stance during this whole go because I intervened so much damage. And I shatter the bob at the last few seconds, may as well use it. I throw an avatar out, and I'm just trying to get as much damage as possible here. Still pumping damage here. I'm looking for that, I think, sweeping blade storm, and I do it now. I was about to press it, and he throws the disarm on me, which is really annoying. But I've got the banner down essentially to help me get uptime as well and play offensive, but also peel. The blade storm comes out and it's just demolishing and chunking both of them. The prop pally throws a heal out on himself, but he doesn't have the holy power. And that's what I find works best is just get a good cleave on a prop pally, force pressure on them because you do more damage to them because I think that's how it's balanced. And pretty much keep swapping around. So eventually somebody isn't going to get tops there. So that was against a prop pally warrior. Not the best one to be honest, but haven't got many clips today, so I'd rather just grab that as an as a way to play against them. I think swapping, focusing mainly on that on the prop pal and almost treating him like a healer. So when you do your goes on the off target, making sure you have CC like a fear or a hex or a stun on the prop pally. All right, on to the next clip. Okay, so we have a clip against a mirror here, Warrior Arsham, and I do a really funny mistake at the start here. I don't even really know how I managed this. I run Overwatch and Disarm here, mainly just because if we're really low on pressure and we're getting spam hexed by the Arsham, I like to have the Overwatch. And Disarm is sort of mandatory against every Warrior team. So what I'm trying to look to do here is put as much pressure as I can onto the Arsham and the Warrior and try and get them in a spot where I'm cleaving. He's probably going to have the same idea, so depending on how it plays, we're either going to be ages away from each other or literally both of us are going to be on top of each other. So I target the Arsham, I miss my, what's it called, Piercing Howl, and I avatar out to break the roots. He gets the root there. I throw disarm on the warrior because he's popping all his cooldowns and he disarms me. Um, just kind of chilling at the moment. And what I do really wrong here, if you can notice, is I'm trying to swap onto the warrior, but I'm still targeting the Arsham, and I didn't even realize because I'm just, yeah, I was a bit spaced out there. I swap onto the warrior here, and I'm just pumping damage. When he parries, I just swap, and I'm blade storming on top of both of them, just making sure I tag the warrior and the Arsham in this. I'm pretty much looking to get as much pressure out here and almost try and kick the Arsham as well. I've thrown the intervene out on my Arsham so he can get cast off during this period of time too. I'm playing pretty aggressive here, spamming the slows. He's hitting my Arsham, but I'm hitting him. And my Arsham's sort of kiting theirs. I trinket the disarm here because I feel like I got a lot of pressure, and I don't really want to lose all of it to a single disarm. I missed the kick, and we get the grounding out too. But he's sort of in execute phase. He's dipping in and out a lot, and he's having to sort of really manage where I am, and his Arsham is in this awkward position too. So I'm also getting the double cleave here. I get the sharpen on both with sweeping strikes, and I get a spear down too. I get rooted there, and I realize, oh, actually, I just changed to gnome, so I could have gotten rid of that pretty quickly. The warrior's in D stance the whole time. I'm in B stance, so I'm cleaving both. I'm doing a lot more damage. I see he throws down the spear, so I instantly go for the stun. And he's blade storming on me, so I just parry to stop this like general overall damage, and I go for the fear. He trinkets because his warrior is really really low, and the warrior immediately has to start playing defensive. I'm still in B stance because I don't think I'm really in trouble. Um, just pumping out damage still here, and I get the blade storm on both here too, which is, I'm really just pushing so much more, I think, pressure on both of them. So I get the kick there on the healing surge, which instantly forces the parry. The hex comes out, which he didn't end up casting, and I throw the spear here in a really funny spot. They're kind of so close to the shaman, but a bit too far away. And to be honest, they probably should have swapped there. I realize I can gnome that, so I gnome that quickly. And again, mainly cleaving. I see the shaman uses his wall, so now he's potentially a target. I stun the warrior, and we're just getting huge damage out here. I swap onto the shaman now because I know he doesn't have wall. My shaman walls, so we're kind of ahead on a cooldown, and I kind of overlapped disarm with that as well. I didn't really need to, but felt like we were far enough ahead that I'd rather just secure the win here. His shaman's almost completely tapped. So eventually we move away from this tomb. As you can see, the warrior realizes, hey, maybe this isn't the best place for me to be. I'm executing him in B stance. He's still in B stance during my go. He gets this fear off into the hex, and I just parry. The second that happens, I just parry because I know the only way we can lose this game is if I don't press that button. And I reflect. I don't end up reflecting really anything here. I thought I would reflect the lava burst, but as you can see here, I've got way too much pressure. I'm just pumping damage on them. I get the full fear out, and eventually they're sort of overwhelmed. So a lot of that is just up to me doing my rotation a bit better, maybe outgearing him by a couple of eye levels. So that's that game, Warrior Arsham versus Warrior Arsham. We do about 100k more damage. His Shaman does a little bit more damage, but was super, super behind on healing the whole game. And eventually we won the game. What I wanted to show you guys was a short mirror, right? And this is sort of everything that can go wrong for the other warrior when he's not really committing to a specific go, right? When he seems to be sort of in between hitting me and then not really committing to healing me, but really kind of looking to want to swap my shaman and then not responding enough when I pop cooldowns, right? Um, so, you know, we're looking in here, looking at guild chat, kind of standard stuff, pre-match. I think I'm just running the same taunts as before. See, the warrior's pretty low geared, so one thing I don't do is I don't charge straight away, so I can charge the shaman if I want to swap. But I notice this warrior's taking a lot of damage. He didn't really have Earth Shield up for the start. Uh, my Earth Shields are getting purged. I give him a stun. I throw the spear down. He should have probably trinketed here because I trinket disarm here. He doesn't pop parry yet, even though I'm popping all my cooldowns on him. He could have just pressed parry and he just gets executed for his whole health. So that's an example of a mirror where the opposing team just does not respond, and something you should always try not to do. If the warrior's popping all his cooldowns on you like that, you should probably just press parry and accept that that's a good trade of your cooldowns. Um, I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he wasn't expecting the burst, but the second you're in execute range, everybody knows you're in really, really big trouble. On to the next game. This is against H Power Fire Mage. Something I've noticed way more. Here I just decide my win condition is going to be mana. So I'm just pumping as much damage as I can. I throw the spear out early. We get the bop. I'm just spam calling for the purges and we get the purge there. We purge the altar as well. We missed kick there, but it's not really a big deal because it's on me. I blade storm here, so there's even more time where he can't get this. And because he can't poly me right off this, it's a bit of an awkward go. I intervene and overwatch a huge pyroblast onto the mage, which kind of stops his combusco a lot. It really breaks it up, and they don't get as much as they should have from that pressure. We're just pumping away at him now. Essentially, this is going to be quite a long game, so I might skip until the next go to sort of show you what ends up happening. But the whole game throughout this, I'm just thinking, look, what's the best way I can pump damage? I'm also looking at kicking fireballs, right? Um, and polys, but I do want to stop as many fireballs as I can, and I call for my shaman to stop. The reason is mages get their combust back if they're able to fireball non-stop. So I'm trying to stop as many as I can. I get a really high value spear, which he double blinks out of. So he has no blinks to really get away from me, and I'm just chilling in this earthen, which is really, really good. The sack comes out, just still pumping away at him because it's a weak sack. And I kick that, and Aura Mastery comes out for the fireballs as well. So you can see that he really wants to farm this combust back as soon as possible. Because my Arsham was in a poly, I go into D stance here. I think I spam out a fear to get some pressure out, and now I start to play offensive because my Arsham's out of that poly and he can start purging. Um, I miss the kick, or I don't actually kick there, and I trying to kick as many fireballs because I notice he's really desperate for them. I use my Blaze Storm to break out of the freeze so my Arsham can hold his dispel. I don't know if he did it anyway. And here I kind of make a mistake. I was trying to overwatch this stun, but my Arsham was kind of good by himself. He had it under control. So here we're just polyed. I'm spamming Piercing Howl so I can get on top of him. And I throw the stun out, I throw the spear, and I sharpen him. I'm trying to pump as much damage as I can, as per usual. He's trying to get this rune of power and poly me, and they're really interested in getting a go. If you look at the H-Powers mana, it's already 30%. So they're not doing too well on mana, and it's only 2 minutes and a half into the game. I reflect that poly so my Asham can get some distance, and I kick the next, so now is line of sight for that go. So you can see you just want to give your healer as much help as possible. I jump onto the ring in purpose, so I'm on DR for poly, because I know the go is not really on me. The combust comes out here, and I throw the rally as soon as possible. They don't really get enough of a setup because my Asham had trinket, and they just line of sight here. My Asham lines of sights. He's moving over to the next pillar, and they're trying to get a poly, I think, on me. I kick that one, and I'm just pumping damage into him now. I'm not really too focused on fireballs as much as I was before. And I get the charge fear there, and I stun so I can reconnect and throw the spear down. Here, they're in real big trouble. The last sack comes out of the game. We're just kicking polys now instead of fireballs, mainly because I don't think they're going to live long enough to get to that combust. So I just want to have high enough uptime, which kicking polys really helps with. Um, and we get out of that. Just poly one more time. Now I'm on DR. Slowing him, I use my gnome and I leap over on top of him. I get the stun there and I sharpen, and he gets triune out, but he's really not looking too healthy at this point. One thing you don't want to do here is you don't necessarily want to reflect a really big poly. Um, the main reason is that you're probably going to do him more of a favor. You're going to reduce all your dots, and sort of let him heal up for free. So I don't really want to be using reflect on the polys. I heroic throw him, get as much damage as you can if you can, and we just look in here. We get the stun out. I throw the spear on top of him before he gets through here, and this combust comes out, which is kind of scary. I didn't expect this to happen. And I throw the intervene on my shaman, who gets the ascendance off, and we live that. But that was really risky of me. I really shouldn't have been playing so offensive during this whole go. All right, we get the executes rolling, get a sudden death proc, and we win this game. Kill the pod, as per usual. And that's how I tend to find the easiest way to beat mage H-Pal is respect their combuscos as much as possible. You want to really hold your healer wants to hold his trinket for that. So and you want to almost hold your trinket if you're the one hodged. Usually the person being hodged will be the kill target. And because warriors aren't necessarily the best kill target for mages, they'll usually do it on your healer. Think about how you might be using fear to peel and using your stuns to peel when they're looking to set up a go. And run Overwatch to potentially stop, polys, hodges, and even combustion damage. Even just stopping one of those big pyroblasts, can stop 8 or 9k damage. All right, that's that one done. Thanks for watching, guys.